we'd like to welcome you back to Confessions of a Time Monk. We're here in Bagni di Lucca again at the Laszlo Institute for New Paradigm Research. And in this symposium, we're actually looking at new paradigms in education. And we have the pleasure once again of sitting with Dr. Ervin Laszlo. And we would like to understand his perspective on this new paradigm in education. Ervin, you spoke very eloquently at the beginning of the symposium about your, you weren't disparaging, but the fact that education for you has a very different connotation than we as parents might normally think about it in the old material science-based world.
I can understand, I can reply the same way that Mahatma Gandhi replied when he asked, what does he think of Western civilization? He said, it's a good idea. I can say the same thing about education. I think it's a good idea, but it has to be realized.
So the execution of education is the issue.
It's been necessary, but what we are doing under the name of education is handing down knowledge from the past that's partially obsolete and killing of the creativity of young people, the boldness, the courage they need to raise questions that seem to have already been answered, raise them again because they are deep questions, and try to answer it themselves. This is what normally great philosophers should be doing, not necessarily professional philosophers these days who are just asking, not really going after the big questions, that's about a little bits and pieces here and there, but it's the great questions that great scientists are also asking. And education needs to ask those questions. What do we need to have as not just rational understanding, but deep knowledge in us as comprehension of the world and of who we are? What do we need to be able to be a productive, a positive part of this tremendous flood of change, transformation in which we are now living?
So I have a question for you that's very specific as a mother of a 15-year-old who's in an old paradigm of education. And my 15-year-old is very conscious of the fact that how she's being educated is not preparing her for the dynamic world that she's entering. So what would you advise me as a mother to say to my daughter in terms of, she's aware that she has to, in some way, perform in an old system because the new system is not quite in place yet?
Keep eyes and ears open, keep the mind open. Very, very good if she's aware that she's performing in a setting that is no longer up to date. But instead of being frustrated at that, feel challenged by that and have the confidence that yes, she can contribute to creating a new system, a new understanding, which we have in various aspects of it. It's coming together, because this new understanding is also a millennium-old understanding. It's all the wisdom schools had that knowledge, had that intuitive knowledge. It's now coming together, validated by observations of the super small scale of reality, the super large scale of reality, of what's happening in between when life evolves, what is happening in the universe as it evolves toward what state we don't yet know, the super grand scale of infinite expansion or the collapse into a quantum dimension, or staying balanced at the razor's edge. We don't know, but it's evolving. And we are part of an evolutionary process where we are unfinished products. All along us, the world is evolving, and it's now evolving very fast. For two reasons, very, very fast. One, because it's very unstable, and it cannot stay the way it is. And the other, because the information flows are now much bigger and much more rapid, much more accessible. So we have both the whip and the carrot. We need to change, we need information. And we have this fantastic flow of information that is becoming available that we could use. We have to have the courage, the boldness, the wisdom to choose the information, to look at it, to absorb what we need of it. But do it first intuitively, because you can't know all this all at once. But intuitively you feel you want to be part of a new world. This new world is not what the old one was. Certain things are very clear, I think, to young people. You're not just bits of matter, you and I being separate in this world. This new world is meaning where all things are part of each other, and where we are part of all things. This new world is where there is something you can call a cosmic intelligence or a cosmic consciousness, something which is informing all things, which is creating the trends, the evolution that take place. Because we know it's becoming very, very obvious, both in science and in everyday world. It's not a casual world, not a random world. It's a very highly coordinated, tuned world which is going awry in many respects, you see. And nature doesn't, the cosmos doesn't, humanity does in the last 50, 100 years, more and more. So if you know this, I think, if you have the courage to take this seriously, I think you'll lead a very exciting, very profound, very stimulating life, and you'll be making a contribution that will be a unique contribution.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will certainly share this with my daughter, and I think that it's also important for other young people to hear these words right now.
I very much admire your daughter, whom I had the privilege to hear speak, for her clarity of the vision, being able to express it, for her courage to stand up and express it, and tell her that she is on the right track. Just continue. She will make her contribution. She'll not only do well, she'll feel well, and she'll be well.
Thank you. Thank you.